I turned 72 last month, and something strange happened. My neighbor Janet, who's only 68, asked me to help her carry groceries up the stairs. She was out of breath. I wasn't. That moment made me realize something I'd been noticing for months. I'm not aging the way everyone else seems to be. My name is Margaret Chen. I worked as a physical therapist for 43 years before retiring. And what I'm about to share might upset some people, but it needs to be said. Most folks between 65 and 80 think they're aging normally. They're not. They're aging poorly, and they don't even know it. There are 5 specific changes happening in your body right now. If you're experiencing these 5 things, you're in the top 15% of seniors. Your body is doing something most people's bodies have already given up on. But here's what nobody tells you. These changes don't feel good. They're uncomfortable, annoying even. And that's exactly why most people try to stop them. They take pills, avoid activities, change their routines, all in the name of comfort. And that's precisely what accelerates their decline. I see it everywhere. The grocery store, the park, my own family. People my age who look 20 years older. People 10 years younger who can barely walk. What separates us isn't luck. It isn't genetics. It's these 5 changes. Let me tell you about my sister, Patricia. She's 75, 3 years older than me. Last Thanksgiving, she pulled me aside. "Margaret, how are you still hiking? How are you still driving at night? I can barely get through the day." Her hands were shaking as she said it. Not from cold, from something else. I looked at Patricia's daily routine. She wakes up stiff, so she stays in bed an extra hour. Her knees hurt, so she stopped taking walks. She gets dizzy standing up quickly, so she moves slowly, carefully, holding onto furniture. Everything she's doing makes perfect sense, and everything she's doing is destroying her body. Because here's the truth. Your body at 70 isn't supposed to feel like it did at 40. If it does, something's wrong. Real aging, healthy aging, comes with specific sensations, specific challenges. And if you're not experiencing them, your body has already started shutting down. The first change is something doctors rarely mention. It happens in your legs, but not where you'd expect. Not in your knees or your hips. Deeper than that. And it feels like a low, constant hum of fatigue that never quite goes away. Most people feel this and immediately sit down more. That's the worst thing you can do. I'll explain why in a moment, but first, you need to understand what's actually happening beneath your skin. When I felt this change 3 years ago, I panicked. I thought something was seriously wrong. I went to my doctor. He ran tests. Everything came back normal. That's when I realized this wasn't a problem. It was an adaptation. My body was reorganizing itself, building new pathways, compensating for age in exactly the way it should. But you have to work with it, not against it. The second change affects your sleep, but not in the way you think. Everyone knows older people sleep less. That's common knowledge. What they don't tell you is that the quality of your sleep changes in a very specific way. If you're waking up at 3 in the morning and you feel a particular type of alertness, not anxiety, not needing the bathroom, but a strange clarity, that's actually a sign your brain is aging well. Your circadian rhythm is shifting. Your cortisol patterns are adjusting. This is supposed to happen. My friend Dorothy fought this for 2 years. Took melatonin, sleeping pills, tried every remedy. She'd wake at 3 and force herself back to sleep. Now she can barely remember conversations we had yesterday. Her brain needed those wakeful hours for something. She denied it that time. There are consequences to that. I started using those hours differently. I'll tell you exactly what I do. But first, there's a third change that connects directly to this sleep pattern. And this one involves your appetite. You've probably noticed food doesn't taste the same anymore. Everything seems bland. You need more salt, more seasoning. Most people think their taste buds are dying. That's partially true, but it's not the whole story. Something else is happening. Your body is trying to tell you something crucial about what it needs now versus what it needed at 50. And if you're experiencing this taste change alongside a very specific type of hunger, the kind that comes at unusual times, your metabolism is actually functioning better than 90% of people your age. But there's a right way and a wrong way to respond to this. Get it wrong, and you'll gain weight, lose energy, and accelerate your decline. Get it right, and this change becomes your greatest advantage. Let me show you what I discovered about the connection between these shifting hunger patterns and the fourth change, which happens in a place you check every single day without realizing what you're actually looking at. That place is your hands. Every morning when you wake up, you look at your hands. You wash them, you use them, you see them constantly, but you're not actually looking at what matters. 3 years ago, I noticed my knuckles looked different. Not swollen, not arthritic, just slightly more prominent. The skin around them seemed thinner, almost translucent. I could see veins I'd never noticed before. My first thought was, this is it. I'm getting old, falling apart. But then I started paying attention to other women my age. The ones who moved well, who seemed sharp, who still lived fully. Their hands looked the same as mine. The ones struggling, the ones already declining, their hands looked completely different. Puffier, smoother, actually. Less definition. It took me weeks to understand what I was seeing. Fluid retention. When your body starts failing to circulate properly, fluid pools in your extremities. It makes your hands look younger temporarily, plumper, but it's a warning sign. My prominent knuckles, my visible veins, these meant my circulation was still strong. My body was still efficiently moving blood and lymph. If your hands look bonier than they did 5 years ago, that's actually good news. It means you're not retaining fluid. It means your kidneys are working. Your heart is pumping effectively. But here's what you need to do with this information. Every morning, spend 30 seconds looking at your hands under natural light, not bathroom light. Natural daylight from a window. Check for 3 things. First, color. Your palms should have a slight pink tone. If they're gray or yellowish, your liver needs attention. Second, temperature. Press your palms together. They should feel warm within 10 seconds. If they stay cold, your circulation is compromised. Third, sensation. Touch each fingertip to your thumb. You should feel distinct pressure at each point. If any finger feels numb or tingly, a nerve is being compressed somewhere between your neck and your hand. I do this check every single morning. Takes 30 seconds. In those 30 seconds, I learn more about my body than most people learn from an annual physical. Last month, my left ring finger felt slightly numb, just barely. I started doing neck stretches, adjusted my pillow. Within a week, sensation returned. I caught a pinched nerve before it became a problem. Now, the 5th change is something you've definitely noticed but probably misunderstood. It happens in the afternoon, usually between 2 and 4. You hit a wall. Energy drains out of you like someone pulled a plug. You want to lie down. Maybe you do lie down. You tell yourself it's normal. You're tired. You're old. But this afternoon crash is actually your body's most important communication of the day. It's telling you exactly what it needs. And 90% of people respond incorrectly. They drink coffee. They push through. They nap for 2 hours and then wonder why they can't sleep at night. I used to fight this crash. I'd make another cup of tea, force myself to stay active. I thought rest was giving in. Then I learned what's actually happening physiologically. Your cortisol, which peaks in the morning, drops in the afternoon. Your blood sugar, even if you ate well, dips. Your body temperature lowers slightly. All of this is natural. All of this is your body asking for something specific. Not a nap, not caffeine. Movement. Gentle, specific movement for exactly 12 minutes. I know that sounds arbitrary. It's not. 12 minutes is the precise amount of time needed to trigger a secondary cortisol bump without overtaxing your adrenal glands. Less than 12 minutes, nothing happens. More than 15, you drain your reserves. What kind of movement? Not exercise. Not a workout. Something I learned from watching my mother in her 90s. She would stand up every afternoon at 3, walk to her kitchen, and do what she called puttering, wiping counters, rearranging items, slow, continuous movement with her arms above her waist. I thought she was just restless. She was doing something brilliant. Movement above your waist, above heart level, forces blood upward. It counteracts the pooling that happens when you sit. It triggers a mild cardiovascular response without spiking your heart rate. When I started doing this, my afternoon crashes disappeared within 4 days. 4 days. Now at 3 every afternoon, I stand up and putter. I organize a drawer. I wipe down surfaces. I fold clothes. Anything that keeps my arms moving at chest height or above. 12 minutes. Then I sit back down, and I have energy until evening. But there's something even more important than the movement itself. It's what the movement prevents. Because if you don't address this afternoon dip correctly, a sixth change begins happening in your brain. And this change is invisible until it's already damaged you. The sixth change happens in your sleep, or rather in what used to be your sleep. You wake up at 2 in the morning, wide awake, mind racing. You lie there for an hour, maybe 2, staring at the ceiling. Then finally, just as you drift off, the alarm goes off. This isn't insomnia. It's something much more specific. Your liver is waking you up. Between 1 and 3 in the morning, your liver performs its deepest detoxification work. It processes everything you consumed that day: food, medications, stress hormones. If your liver is overloaded, it can't complete this work quietly. It sends out distress signals. Those signals manifest as wakefulness. I started waking at 2:15 every single night. For months, I tried everything. Melatonin, magnesium, sleep meditation, nothing worked. Then I changed one thing about my dinner. I moved it 30 minutes earlier, that's all. From 6:30 to 6. Within a week, I slept through the night. Here's why. Digestion takes longer than you think. Much longer after 65. Your stomach acid is weaker. Your digestive enzymes are less concentrated. Food that used to move through you in 3 hours now takes 5 or 6. If you eat at 6:30 and go to bed at 10, your body is still digesting when your liver needs to start detoxifying. Your liver can't do both simultaneously, so it wakes you up, pushes digestion to the side, handles the urgent detox work. Then you're awake. But if you eat at 6, digestion finishes by 11 even while you sleep. Your liver gets a clear runway at 1 in the morning. No conflicts, no wake-up calls. I also discovered something about what I ate at that earlier dinner. Protein after 5 in the evening was destroying my sleep. Not because protein is bad, because aging kidneys process protein differently. They work slower. They need more water. When I ate chicken or fish at dinner, my kidneys were still working overtime at midnight. I could feel it. A slight heaviness in my lower back. A need to urinate at 1 in the morning. I shifted all my protein to breakfast and lunch. Dinner became vegetables, rice, soup, light, easy to process. My 2 in the morning wake-ups stopped completely. Now, the 7th change is the one that terrifies people most. You forget words. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. You introduce someone and their name vanishes from your mind. Everyone assumes this is dementia starting. It's not. It's dehydration. Your brain is 73% water. After 65, your thirst mechanism weakens. You don't feel thirsty even when your brain is desperately dry. Every time you can't find a word, your brain is rationing water. It's shutting down non-essential functions to preserve critical ones. I started tracking my water intake. I was drinking maybe 3 cups a day. I thought that was enough because I wasn't thirsty. I forced myself up to 8 cups. Within 2 weeks, the fog lifted. Words came back, names stuck. But here's the critical detail nobody tells you. When you drink the water matters more than how much. Drinking 4 cups at breakfast does nothing. Your kidneys flush it out within an hour. You need consistent small amounts throughout the day. I set a timer. Every 90 minutes, 4 ounces. Not a full glass, just 4 ounces. Sip it slowly over 5 minutes. This keeps your brain consistently hydrated without overloading your kidneys. My memory sharpened so dramatically that my daughter asked if I was taking supplements. No supplements, just water, timed correctly. The eighth change is happening right now as you watch this. Your breathing has become shallow. You're taking short breaths into your upper chest. You don't notice because it happened gradually over years. But shallow breathing is slowly starving every cell in your body. I learned to check my breathing 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, evening. I place one hand on my chest, one on my belly. I breathe normally. Whichever hand moves more tells me the truth. If my chest hand moves and my belly hand stays still, I'm shallow breathing. If my belly hand moves and my chest hand barely shifts, I'm breathing correctly. Most days I catch myself shallow breathing at least twice. The fix takes 6 breaths. Deep inhale for 4 counts, belly expands. Hold for 2 counts. Exhale for 6 counts, belly pulls in. 6 rounds. 90 seconds total. Oxygen floods back into my system. My mind clears. My energy returns. These 8 changes are happening in your body right now. Not next year. Today. But you can address every single one of them with small, specific actions. Earlier dinner, timed water, conscious breathing, 12-minute afternoon movement. 5 of these changes I've reversed completely. 3 I manage daily. My body at 76 works better than it did at 70. Not because I got lucky, because I paid attention. That's what separates those of us who keep going from those who fade. Attention. Not to what doctors say you should feel, but to what your body is actually telling you. These changes aren't your enemy. They're your body's way of showing you it's still fighting, still adapting, still working to keep you here. Listen to it.